Yo, what's good? So, by the way, first off, if you're confused about how we're starting things off in this episode, uh, and like you'll get it. That's why we're doing things different right now. But anyway, uh, anime. Like everybody, well, if you've been accustomed to this channel for quite a bit, you know that I like anime. It's my thing, right? I like that shit. But they're trying to censor it. Like Americans are trying to censor how the Japanese do their anime, even though America's like the country that's known as freedom of speech and ish. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, any whoosies. I would also, before we get started, I would also like to point out how it is such an quote unquote American thing to want to change how another country should do things. It's like we know better than you, so fuck your path that you're going on by yourself because you don't know, because at the moment we think we know better than you. So fuck the path that you're walking by yourself. You're doing things wrong. You should do things like this. That's how a lot of Americans look at other countries. Let's be real. But what I wanted to talk about today has something to do with that. Let me show you. Let me show you. Bam. Okay. Why they are trying to censor anime. And it's by the YouTube channel Think Before You Sleep. So yeah, they're trying to censor anime. I do know one reason why. I think at least I think one of the reasons why is because how lollies. Let's just say lollies. Like if you know what lollies are, if you know what or what type of person a lolicon is, then you know what I'm talking about. Like a lot of Americans don't agree with that shit. Personally, I don't agree with it either. But hey, if I can't tell a country how to run itself, you feel me? So I'm like chill with it. It's like that's how y'all do over there. That's how y'all do over there. It's not how I do. I don't really how care about it. But do you? You feel me? So anyway, that's one reason I think people are trying to censor anime. But what else? Like, is there anything else I'm missing? Let's check out this video. Let's watch it. See what's good, see what's great, see what's going on. No hate. As always, link to TBYS, Think Before You Sleep, will be in the description below, as well as the link to the video. Let's get to it.
Devastating and heartbreaking news that came out earlier this morning. Western companies are forcing Japan to bow down and censor not just anime and manga to be viewed overseas, but to literally censor the content at its very source.
A little while back, there was some very scary news that came out about big companies like Visa and MasterCard saying that they would not process payments for certain Japanese websites. What this means is that basically if you wanted to purchase some anime or a graphic novel or a video game from a Japanese website that Visa doesn't like, they will come in between you and the seller and say, "We're not going to allow you to buy that," which effectively censors the material and makes it so that the website can't function without Visa or MasterCard's approval. In this specific case, a website called Manga Library Z.
Let's be real. Like if someone really wanted the anime or manga or whatever the sale is, they would find another way to get it illegally, like not through other sites that force you to follow their rules before you can get your item. They'll just find another way to do it because someone else is always willing to sell it illegally. Or if you look hard enough, you can always find whatever you're looking for, but being sold by someone illegally. So it doesn't matter, to be honest. If they want to like stop Visa transactions and all that stuff shit, people will find a way. There's always a way. If there's a will, there's a way, and trust me, there's plenty of wills.
Had to shut down, but this has actually been an ongoing issue for a while.
About 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago, I made a video talking about like Pixiv and even DL Site facing issues with card companies and how these card companies were just basically playing, very mean. Like for instance, if they didn't remove content, like if DL Site or Pixiv didn't remove certain content, these card companies like Visa and MasterCard would pull themselves off the site.
Technically, they can still take payments in the form of Bitcoin or some other payment processor. But the problem is that Visa, MasterCard, and JCB make up almost all the transactions for these websites, and most people don't know how to use Bitcoin, so effectively, lack of support from these credit card companies kills their business. It's like saying that you aren't allowed to physically pull cash out of your wallet to buy something because the government doesn't like you, which is insane. Now, if this isn't setting off red flags for you because you don't care about anime, then understand that this problem is enormous. If Visa and MasterCard can get away with this with these anime and
Wait. Let's make sure the people in the back heard what he just said. Give it a second. Hold on. Let me back it up real quick.
physically pull cash out of your wallet to buy something because the government doesn't like you, which is insane. Now,
All right, here we go.
if this isn't setting off red flags for you because you don't care about anime, then understand that this problem is enormous. If Visa and MasterCard can get
it? Even if you don't care about anime, at least have that understanding. This is a problem. You should pay attention. Let's get it.
away with this with these anime and video game websites, then these massive companies can basically destroy any business they don't like. So understand that this is a very dangerous power. That being said,
So basically, he's saying if any company, like if Visa or MasterCard has problems with any company, and they're allowed to like pull their services from that company, they can destroy any company they would like. That's what he's saying. I mean, it may start off first as only dealing with what a different country that doesn't share the same values as you and shit like that. It may start off like that first, but how long until it's how long until it's just standard in the country you're in?
let's hear the reasoning for why Visa is removing their support from these Japanese websites.
And this is basically what this guy, the head of Visa Japan, had to say. So, Kidney explained that while Visa strives to facilitate legal and legitimate purchases whenever possible, there are instances where the company must restrict usage to protect the brand.
I believe the backstory is that Visa was trying to blame clients of theirs for this change, and this guy sort of said the quiet part out loud and admitted that Visa themselves was actually responsible for revoking payment processing for these anime and manga providers.
He looks like a stereotypical supervillain from a comic book. Like, if someone...
You mean like Lex Luthor? Is it? Am I the only one thinking Lex Luthor? Look at here. Lex Luthor. I mean, I mean, bruh, bruh. Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, bro.
told me this was Lex Luthor,
See?
I would believe it.
Yeah, he does kind of look like a supervillain. He actually looks a little like that BlackRock guy who said that you need to force change and force people to accept diversity hires.
Yeah,
anyway, I'm not a lawyer,
thanks.
but I can imagine that this is not legal, as in it violates some sort of antitrust law. However, I will say that those laws might not apply because it's international, but whether it's legal on a technicality or not, this is something that we should all be paying attention to.
The reason why these card companies are doing it is because they want Japan to censor themselves. They don't like certain content that's on there, like certain fan service content, stuff like that.
Wait, what kind of fan service? Are we talking about Darling in the Franxx kind of fan service with middle schoolers operating giant robots in very sexually suggestive positions? Or are we talking...
Bruh, have you seen that anime? Like, I get what he's... I get what he's trying to say. Like, hold on. Let me show you. Inside Robot. Yeah, no, that's how she gets into the robot. And then he's generally, no, there's another better view. That's how they get into the robot, and all the robots are paired off with one male and one female. I think one robot has both males. I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. But anyway, yep, that's how it generally looks. Like I said, I don't agree with everything that who am I to tell another country how to do their shit? You know what I'm saying? But that's how a lot of Americans feel. They feel like they should be able to tell another country how to run itself. And that's why America is threatening to ban anime. Bruh.
About a beach episode where all the characters are adults, because one of those is gross and inappropriate, while the
I'm not gonna lie. I would like an episode where, or an anime where like everybody's like in college, or just graduated from college, just so you don't have to question, hey, is this, how old is this person? How old is this person? But you don't have to say that. Just like make everybody in college. You feel me? Oh, one of my favorite anime. It's like a horror anime. One of my favorite that does that is called I called it my favorite, but I don't even remember what it's called. Hold on, give me a second. I know I at least saved it under my favorites. Anime favorite. Uh, hmm. Maybe I didn't save it. If I remember it, I'll like mention it. If I don't, oh well. It was something, it had something to do. If I'll tell you about it. That way, if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, they can post it in the comments. But it had something to do with like these two were in college, right? When they were kids, the boy got them both cursed because they went and messed with the spirit, and the spirit cursed them. But currently, they're both in college, and the girl is like not babysitting, but like mostly babysitting this for this. But no, she adopted. Sorry, this other little girl from one of her family members because of some ish happened. She adopted this chick, and this chick can see spirits, knows how to fight with them, and knows how to deal with them. And so they go to all the haunted places, the most haunted places in Japan or their area of Japan, and they go through collecting these spirits, like trapping them in dolls and ish, so that she can use them to fight this other spirit that she knows killed her mom when she was little. So, trying to remember the name of it. If you know it, then in the comments below, let me know. But let's get back to this.
the other is just kind of cringe baiting. So what's on these websites that Visa has a problem with?
It also houses, 18 plus content as well. And the thing is, it's completely all legal, sanctioned under Japan, everything like that. It is completely fine to use and buy in Japan on these sites and stuff.
Well, that was a strange statement at the end. Why did you feel the need to insist that this 18 plus content is legal to buy specifically in Japan? Is it not legal to buy in?
No, it's legal to buy in America, but the thing is that they have to age up the girls because or they age up the people in general, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But in my opinion, they have to age up the people because in Japan, like 16 is like the age is the new age is the new age of consent. Well, in America, we still go for 18. So in Japan, that's why a lot of things happen in like high school versus like in America, by the time you finish high school, you're probably 18 or older. So 18 is like the legal age in America. Japan's like 16. That's why. Anyway.
In other countries? You said that Visa and MasterCard are trying to ban anime. What anime are they trying to ban? Why are you beating around the bush here?
And even if you disagree with, like, the explicit content on these sites, okay? It's not real. It's not real. It's not real whatsoever, okay? Drawings and stuff. It's anime and all that, okay?
Wait, honestly, like, I'm gonna be real. There's an anime, quote unquote anime, that made it past, like, I don't know what kind of checks they do, but it didn't get labeled as a hentai. If you know what hentai is, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what a hentai is, don't worry about it. But like, there's an anime that made it past being labeled as a hentai, and everybody's trying to, well, at least I'm trying to figure out why. The anime, oh, should I tell you what it is? I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. But it came out last year. No, No, yeah. Last year. Came out last year. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I'm not gonna give you any other hints. That's it. But I was curious as to why it made it past the title of being a hentai because that was crazy. That anime, bruh. Anyway,
What the hell is going on here? This guy Chibi Reviews is being incredibly vague, so let's see if we can figure out why he had to say, "They're just drawings, bro. It's legal in Japan." Well, if you look at the thumbnail, you can see that there's a character who I believe is 8 or 9 years old from a show called Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
right. That's the thing about lollies I mentioned before, because like some people, lollies, if you don't know, are like characters who look like they're young, but they're really like thousands of years old. I'm not really a fan of that shit, but I see the appeal, I guess, and I see why some people might be fans of it, but that's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? That's just not. I'm good, bro. I mean, fuck. But yeah, this character on the far left is the character that they're talking about, and they said, well, she's a dragon, right? So she's thousands of years old, but she's in the form of someone who looks like they're eight or nine. That's a problem, bro.
Now, there
That's
are a
not cool.
couple of things that Dragon Maid is famous for, but I think the biggest drama around this show is the numerous scenes where the show sexualizes some very young characters, mainly these two girls here and this boy here. If you don't believe me, you can watch episode 6 of season 1 or episode 14 or actually a number of the episodes. And I'm guessing that Chibi Reviews is aware of
If you don't believe me, watch any episode. You can watch this episode, this episode, this episode. Really, you can watch any episode, and yeah, you'll see why I said that. Damn, bro, that's bad.
these scenes because in the past he stated that he's a fan of the show.
Kobayashi, Maid Dragon, yes, I'm so excited. Second season of Maid Dragon. I mean, we've been waiting for a very long time. I can't wait to have my little Kana back again. This is going to be my slice life Moe blob of the season. It's going to be fun. If you have not...
Bruh, this guy reminds me of, I forgot what his name was, but it started with a V, I think. But it was that streamer that last year, he was talking about how, you know, people who are lower lolicons are like trash and shit like that. But he accidentally opened the wrong folder on his computer, and like it was full of fucking like lolly hentai, and that dude got bashed. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Ew, that's nasty as fuck. But anyway, that's who this guy reminds me of.
Not watch Maid Dragon, seriously, what you doing? Go watch it. It's good.
That's a weird character.
Honestly, I prefer if I'm gonna suggest anybody an anime, I would suggest them the English dub version of Ghost Hunters. If I remember, I'll put a clip right here somewhere. We're like 18 minutes, 19 minutes in. I'll put a clip right here if I remember. But it's just funny.
To say that you're looking forward to considering the contents of the show. Just to be clear, Kanna is the girl with silver hair. Now, it's one thing to watch a show like Spy Family, see Anya and say, what a cute and silly character who can read people's minds.
But this show was fucking awesome. Spy Family is so fucking good. And yo, the assassin chick, like the quote unquote wife. I say quote unquote because like she's pretending to be his wife and she's like an undersigned. But anyway, like the wife chick, yo, she is fine. Like, god damn.
This looks like a fun show to watch. Wait,
It's
actually,
funny,
I've only
though.
seen like
The show is
5
funny.
episodes of Spy Family. Nothing weird happens to Anya, right? I take
Nothing
that
weird.
back. My trust for the way that anime handles children is very
Wait, what?
low.
Wait,
so I feel
seriously?
like rubber stamping a show that I haven't fully seen is a bad idea. I don't want to find out that there's some weird Usagi drop stuff that happens in the middle of the story.
There's
How
nothing
about
like
Full
that.
Metal Alchemist? Nothing bad happens to children in that show. Look at this relationship between this father and daughter.
Nah, bro. You can't say that. You can't. That's not fair, bro. Because in Full Metal Alchemist, like everybody knows who that girl is, and they know who the dog is. Well, no. Oh, wait, not this one. Different one. Okay, never mind. But anyway, like everybody knows what happens to her anyway. different chick. But anyway, You can't bring that shit in here, bro. You can't say Full Metal because everybody knows about the other girl and the dog. Not her, but like whatever, bro. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying.
Isn't that so great? I look forward to seeing these characters to see those positive interactions.
Bruh.
So understand that there's a difference between looking forward to stuff like that
cold-blooded.
and looking forward to a character who's involved in a scene where two elementary school girls play a game of Twister and fall on each other, sort of. So now I feel the need to investigate more, because what I've found over the years is that people who are into this LowlyCon stuff are always incredibly vague about what they're talking about, because they know if they said anything specific, they would get a huge amount of backlash.
And the person that they're trying to talk into going to watch that anime will be like, nah, bro, I'm good. It reminds me of, like, for a hot second in the anime community, people were like, hey, what anime should I watch? And people would be like, Boku no Pico. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. That's not, no, bro, no. Like, luckily, like, my friend was like, hey, bro, don't watch that. This is what that's about. Don't watch that. It's about some shady shit, bro. Don't even. I was like, okay, I'll trust you, bro. I'm good. But nah, man, people are still trying to get other people to fall for that. Hey, watch Boku. What anime should you watch? Oh, you should watch Boku no Pico. Nah, bro, don't watch that shit. Trust me.
Which is why people like Chibi Reviews will say, come on, man, it's legal. They're just drawings. Drawings of what? Please, Jacob, describe what's being drawn on these 18-plus websites. If it's not that bad, I'm sure everybody will understand, right? As for legality, it's not legal in Canada, and it actually might not even be legal in the US depending on how the law is interpreted. And keep in mind that Japan only recently did things like raise the age of consent from 13 to 16. That was under 2 years ago. They also didn't make possession of real CP illegal until...
That was under 2 years ago? I thought they did that a long time ago. It was under 2 years ago, bro. It was after, like, being in... It was, like, 2 years after COVID hit. And you had to, like, keep yourself away from people. 2 years after that, they're like, okay, hey. We should probably, you know, raise the age limit. Like, bro, what the fuck?
Like 2014. So these drawings may be legal to distribute now, but that might change in the upcoming years as Japan creates more appropriate boundaries around children. With all that said, there was actually an article that Chibi Reviews was reacting to that talks about what Visa had a problem with, and it's what you'd expect. Visa has a problem with the child-centered content on these websites. And I have to say that it is very strange that Jacob does a whole 10-minute video on this article and just flat out refuses to specifically mention what they were trying to ban.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Anime like Kill La Kill, like, come on, that could... I see why they would want to censor something like that, but...
So I think this all brings up an interesting discussion. Visa and MasterCard are exercising some pretty scary power here, as in, if they succeed at censoring these companies, they could easily be encouraged to use that power elsewhere to bully companies like BlackRock does with ESG scores. Personally, I think that Visa and MasterCard are so big that they should not be allowed to restrict payment processing unless the company is violating the law. Much like I think that because big tech companies are a monopoly, they should not be allowed to permanently ban people unless they're breaking the law. But also, this whole situation brings up a new issue that I was not previously aware of. Right around the time that this drama started, I was sent a DM on Twitter about artists from websites like Pixiv and the kind of material that they're drawing. If you remember from earlier, Pixiv is one of the websites that Visa was trying to cancel. Now, a ton of people are aware of artists like Shadman who draw lolicon or images of little girls because he was a famous animator on the...
And he got, well, his name spread after during the Mr. Beast drama with his old friend. I forgot their new name, so I'm not gonna say their old name. I'm not gonna say their dead name because I forgot their new name. But that person.
The website Newgrounds. More recently, he's famous for drawing explicit images of that girl who was in that Wolverine movie, and I believe a YouTuber who goes by Lieutenant Corbus. That being said, now we're moving away from the whole, they're just cartoons, bro, no one's getting hurt argument. But the reason that I bring up this informant from my Twitter DMs is because he informed me that this behavior from Shadman is not that uncommon in places like Pixiv.
Also, I think if I remember correctly, Shadman, he also drew Keemstar's daughter, like when she was underage. You know, he drew her in SFW, not safe for work. So yeah, Shadman's a yeah, nah, bro. And Mr. Beast's friend was a fan of Shadman's, and Mr. Beast knew it.
Now, understand that for this next part, I have to be incredibly vague
Or knew of the interest in art that Shadman makes
to protect the victim, so I won't be naming any specific artist, nor will I say who they're drawing. In the case of Shadman, that wasn't necessary because these were extremely public and well-known events. However, this one is lesser known, so I'm taking more precautions. That being said, there's a girl who was a Slavic model who is pretty regularly drawn by artists as a 9-year-old and has at least one visual novel written about her. I'm going to censor most of the information here, but you can see that it says, based on a real person. Speaking of Pixiv, here's a comment section talking about this girl with people saying, she's the best. Blank is the best. And at the top, there's a person asking people to DM him to trade CP. I've actually seen a number of these requests to trade content on Pixiv. That seems to be how these weirdos build their collection, and I believe a lot of it's done on Telegram as well. Here's another example of a person asking to trade. This comment section also happens to contain a person whose Twitter account I was sent by the Twitter informant. He's an artist who also has made content that was inspired by real people, and he follows a lot of accounts that feature little girls who are Japanese models or pop idols. I counted 36 of them, and he's not too embarrassed to hit up the comment section of these accounts either, which is totally not weird at all. Does Japan have an FBI? And yes, I know it's the same person from Pixiv because he linked all of his accounts together. But unlike YouTubers who deny more nefarious motives and say, it's just a drawing, guys.
This 12-year-old girl, yes, maybe a 12-year-old girl, but it is just a drawing of a fictional 12-year-old girl. Nobody can do anything directly to this 12-year-old girl that will put them in harm's way in any kind of physical or...
By the way, if you don't know who that is, that's Joey the anime man.
Emotional sense, because this 12-year-old girl you speak of never existed in the first place.
Finding out stuff like this is why I haven't clipped Trash Taste since I believe the Ludwig video. So while there are plenty of people who will deny more nefarious motives, there are also plenty of people on Twitter or other internet forums who are very open about their desires. For example, this post here. Sorry I had to basically censor everything, but the context of this is a reaction to an artist who made content based on real CSEM. You can see one of the posters saying that the source material is hot, followed by a responder expressing how glad he is. The poster is a reaction to an artist who made content based on real CSEM.
Oh, that kind of material. You can see
one of the posters saying that the source material is hot, followed by a responder expressing how glad he is about the growing popularity of Lolicon.
Bro, what the fuck?
Lower down, you can see someone being quoted saying the best content is based on real cheese pizza, followed by a person responding showing his delight that more people are becoming accepting of this. And the bigger issue here with Lolicon material pretty frequently appearing in anime is that while everyone who consumes this kind of content might not have the ideas of these forum posters, it does, however, increase social acceptance of people like this. The more people approve of shows like Dragon Maid or worse stuff like Eromanga Sensei, the more people will look past forum posts like this one. You can even see it on Twitter. This person here has said something so horrendous that I had to censor it, but if you speak 2 languages, I'm sure you can figure out what it
I want to be blank mounted by a blank wearing a blank. Yeah, I don't think I want to know what that says.
says. More importantly, there's a person quote tweeting him and defending him saying, it's not that bad, he's just talking about drawings. Is he? How do you know? In fact, from a broader sense, if you're into Lolicon, how do you know that the drawings that you're looking at were not inspired by a real-life event? Is every artist transparent about that? I mean, certainly the pornography industry is not, as Pornhub got into some pretty big trouble for not doing obvious shit such as age verifying the people who appear in videos on their website. And I believe they still don't really age verify people who don't show their face because it's hard to match faceless people in a video with the IDs that they send to the content moderators.
I think I heard about that because like there was a bunch of some chick made a video about how there's like a bunch of children, underage women who can't consent are being okayed by because of someone else like the owner of the video, the owner of the channel that posted that posted the video. They are of age, but like the hub wasn't requiring the age verification of the people within the video, and there were a lot of them were doing like child abuse type things, and forcing young women into situation or to do things on camera. And since they didn't have to, since the person on camera doesn't have to verify their age, then and the hub was allowing it, this got found out and they got into huge trouble. I think that's how it happened.
Which means it is very easy to traffic people on that website. All Pornhub would have to do is say that you can't upload unless your face is in the video. It's a pretty easy problem to fix if they were actually looking to fix it.
That would be a good way.
There are also studios like this one where the founders were
well, it would be a good it's a good thought, but I don't know if that would actually fix the problem. Because then you can just get someone else who looks 18 or is 18 or older, and they can get someone, you can hire someone else to do that, or just take pictures off the fucking internet, or like use AI to like age up people and take pictures and do some shit or something. I don't know, but I don't think it would be the best solution. I think even if you had everybody in the video be forced to be age verified, it would still be difficult to prove it with all the new technology, with how technology is now.
Put in jail for trafficking girls and making money off abuse content. Studios selling abuse content under the guise of it being consensual is not that uncommon. So for all of you enlightened non-offenders, what makes you so sure that the drawings that you're looking at were not inspired by real people or real CSEM? I mean, here's a comment getting off to the fact that lolicons are unknowingly looking at content that was inspired by that Slavic model that I talked about earlier, and then it kind of hints at predators intentionally spreading these images to further corrupt people who think they are, air quote, innocently looking at some little anime girl, but they are actually looking at CSEM content. Well, maybe innocent is the wrong word, even in air quotes. But how do you know that bad actors aren't trying to trick you into looking at something that's worse than you thought it was to promote social acceptance of their gross and illegal behaviors? MindGeek was already caught doing that with their adult website.
Are you serious?
Remember the Project Veritas style interview?
People actually,
so even if you are one of the enlightened ones like Rev Says Des, who thinks that consuming drawn content based on real events or real people is wrong and immoral, you do understand that many people are going to flip their morality when they find out that they have been unintentionally engaging with that kind of material all along, right?
I like Rev Says Des, and I'm glad that that's their stance on that. If it's based off real people in reality, then it's like, nah, bro. It's like, stay away from that. But if it's literally fictional, I can see why people would be okay with it. Rev Says Des, their character model is just completely fictional, I think. But like, obviously it's a dude talking behind the mic, so but anyway.
Or when they find out that the more degenerate consumers have been purposefully pushing them into content inspired by real events to make that content more socially acceptable. And by the way, I'm sure I'll get gaslit on this by people who defend lolicon, as they pretend to not understand what social proofing is, so they can try to invalidate my argument about shows like Dragon Maid pushing more people to be accepting of PDF files, particularly if those people find out that they unintentionally stepped over their morality line. Now, just to catch people up, social proofing is an influencing technique that plays on people's impulse to follow whatever the tribe is doing, regardless of morality. Meaning, you can get people to do things simply by convincing them that a lot of other people are doing it, or you can convince people to adopt a certain ideology by saying that others have it. For example, when the legacy media says 98% of scientists agree with a narrative that they're trying to push.
Hey, real quick. Let me increase the size of this image for you on my screen real quick. Hold on. You see where my mouse, right? Do you see this thing right here? Right here where my mouse is hovering over? It looks like a little face. It's like looking at you. The mouth is slightly open, and it looks like it's blushing. So anyway, I don't know why I noticed that, but I did. I figured I'd share that with you. Back to the video.
That is a social proofing technique to get you to adopt their ideology.
Now you can't unsee it, can you? Yes.
Anyway, obviously the Lowlycon defenders understand what social proofing is and how powerful it is, because they have entire social proofing networks where they sit in the shadows waiting for someone on Twitter to say that ReZero should stop doing weird shit with its young characters, followed by them retweeting the replies that they make to all their
Bro, facts. Like, why is this main character in ReZero? Hold on, let me bring it back up for you. Why is this guy like constantly attracting lollies? Constantly, like this little one right here. She's supposed to be like this spirit that's just been living for hundreds of years, and she's mostly like introverted or like lives inside like a library type place. But she decided to start following him. This chick, when she first saw him, she was in love with him. Like, and they're all lollies. Like, this dude is a lolly magnet, bro. That's just creepy. It's just weird, man. Not sorry.
friends, sharing them on Discord, and firing up all their alternate accounts to like and comment so that their reply tweet ratios the original post. I've made threads about this stuff on Twitter, and I've literally watched lowly defenders retweet every single comment they make so that their friends can all like the tweet and make it look like their creepy-ass statement is far more popular than it actually is. They will also dislike bomb and comment brigade any video criticizing them to make it look like opinions against Lowlycon are unpopular, when in reality, almost everyone thinks Lowlycon is creepy. The defenders of it wouldn't have to fake engagement if their opinion actually had mass approval. But bringing it back to the Visa and MasterCard thing, I do think what they're doing is evil because they are essentially exercising the power to kill any business they want without any checks and balances. People are smart to be worried about this, but that doesn't mean that there aren't issues with the anime community, and a part of the problem is that, ironically, much like the woke people I've watched them complain about, they don't handle criticism very well, and they will often engage in deplatforming tactics when someone calls them out. And for everyone else, they will basically say that their opinion is invalid because they haven't been watching anime long enough.
Ever since COVID, anime manga...
Bro, it doesn't matter how long you've been watching anime. As long as you see like if you could see a variety of different anime and find one that you don't agree with and be like, that's fucked up. I get it. I do. But this is like the American thing, like telling other people how they should run their country. At the same time, I do find it a little weird that, like, you know, the Lollycon community is a little weird to me. That's all. But I do agree that, like, Americans shouldn't be telling other people how to run their country, or nobody should tell other people how to run their country, or how their country should be run.
So a lot of new anime and manga fans came into the picture, which has definitely led to a lot of issues in the last few years. I'm not going to get into that topic.
Tourist, you're such an anime tourist. You only started watching it because you had nothing to do during COVID, and all you've seen is Demon Slayer, therefore you aren't allowed to criticize anime.
Hey, Demon Slayer is a good anime. I ain't gonna lie, it's good. If that's all you've seen, can you criticize anime? I mean, sure, because there are people who will only like Nezuko, the chick. Let me bring it. The chick right here. They only like Nezuko when she's in her like chibi, which is like little, which means like little, her tiny form. But a lot of people don't like that. Either way, I think I'm pretty sure she's underage in general. Like, she's under the age of 18, even when she's big. So I get it. But anyway,
these people are ridiculous. Even if you've been watching anime since Pokemon first aired in the 1990s in the US, and you speak Japanese, they will still call you a tourist who doesn't know anything about anime.
Facts.
Like, I've been watching it longer than a lot of these people have been alive. So despite all of that, these people will still call you a tourist who doesn't deserve to have an opinion because you think it's wrong that a lot of anime sexualizes children.
Bro, I'm learning Japanese right now, but I do. When Pokemon came out, I memorized that fucking intro, bro. I went to school going, I want to be the very best. Like no one ever was. But anyway.
And why exactly should I have to be some sort of anime scholar just to be able to say something? That's like saying I'm not allowed to have an opinion on Squid Game just because I haven't watched a lot of Korean shows. So it's not about how much anime street cred you have. Calling people a tourist is just a way of shutting people up without listening to their argument, which is very much the same reason why everybody hates woke people. But, like, it's uncanny how many of the tactics of the legacy media or political radicals that these anime YouTubers and lowlycons use. They are pro-cancel culture and will mass flag people they don't like. They will fake engagement. They will accuse critics of doing the thing that they're doing themselves. And they will even do that whole gaslighting thing where they'll say, this stuff doesn't exist in anime. What are you talking about? Then when you give an example, they'll say, it's not that many shows. It's just Sword Art Online. But in reality, this stuff is all over anime. It's in Dragon Ball. It's in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, multiple seasons of Digimon, Secret Blue Water Nadia, Inuyasha, Summertime Rendering, Shield Hero, Mushoku Tensei, My Hero Academia, No Game No Life, Darling in the Franxx, the end credits of Future Diary, ReZero.
Dude, oh my god, season 3 has so much lolly shit in it, it's insane. It's like 15 fucking times in the first episode.
Bro, I'm not really a fan of ReZero anyway, to be honest. Like I used to watch it, but then the moment he turned Rim down, I was like, all right, bro, I'm done. And anyway, yeah, that shit is kind of weird. I ain't gonna lie. It does have a lot of lolly shit in it.
I was watching that shit with my homies. And we're like,
dude, what the fuck?
Was it always like this?
No, the curious thing is that it wasn't always like that. The show initially was not that bad. In season 1, there was almost no lolicon material, outside of it maybe mentioning the word in this scene here. In season 2, it ramps it up a bit with this conversation that was a little bit weird. Well, I mean, it was very weird. And there were a couple of suspicious things about season 2. Then, in season 3, the show goes full mask off.
Honestly, I don't think that conversation was that weird. I don't think this conversation was that weird, but it was interesting, and it was a little bit touching, I ain't gonna lie.
Suspicious things about season 2. Then, in season 3, the show goes full mask off, almost like they were trying to trick the audience into accepting it by slowly integrating it into the show, which is really creepy, like they knew what they were doing. Actually, in my memory, Shield Hero did the same thing.
I really hate
That's
how
true.
many shows there are where I'm like, yeah, the show's really good if you can ignore all the pedophile shit. And the problem is, guys, you know as well as I know, you thought of at least 5 different animes that fit that criteria.
Yeah.
Guys, let's not ignore Hunter x Hunter. I mean, guys, I'll be real, even Dragon Ball had that shit. Even Black Clover has that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Goblin Slayer's safe, right?
I do believe
No.
that season 1 of Goblin Slayer is safe. Barely.
Seriously?
Season 1's all I've watched, but that young priest girl from episode 1 gets saved before bad things happen to her.
I mean, bad things were happening to her other teammates, though. Are you all right, bro.
Outside of that, those shows that I mentioned earlier were just what I could think of off the top of my head. I know it's way more than that. And once people started pointing out how common this is, the lolicon defenders moved from, this doesn't happen in anime at all, to, well, it's always been an anime.
Right, I mean, let's be real. Like, it's every high school anime is it's technically not lolicon, but it is like they're underage by American standards and barely by the new Japanese standards. If they're like 15, then it would be underage. But if they're 16 within Japanese standards, then they'd be fine. I guess a lot of them are just now 16. But anyway.
As if that somehow makes it better. Now, I get that some of these shows are more egregious than others, particularly shows like Arrow Manga Sensei, but the point is that if normies want to watch the latest shonen battle anime, then they shouldn't have to sit through like 30 different shower scenes with 14-year-olds or younger, or have to watch a creepy author display how he thinks sexual assault is comic relief.
But if you want to watch a good like battle anime, it depends on what kind of battle you're looking for. But if you're looking for just Baki, like martial arts battle anime, Baki is a good anime. Holy shit, that anime is good. Let me make sure I'm actually mentioning the right thing. Baki anime. Yep, this one. This anime. This shit is good as fuck, bruh. Like, if you're looking for like a battle anime and you want martial arts, bruh, this shit is good.
And a big reason why I push back on this a lot is because moments where they're promoting this creepy behavior as good completely step on what anime is a fantastic medium for, which is discussing difficult topics that would otherwise be immoral to do with real actors in a live-action show. But instead of doing that, these shows are using animation to glorify some really creepy behavior, and whether it encourages people to repeat that behavior or not, it's still immoral to have show after show doing this. At the very least, I think these anime shows are creating more porn addicts who can't get anything done because they're busy watching weird hentai all day. And so a lot of it is just studios preying on their viewers' disease for money. Also, for that Lolicon defender in the comments who's saying, but I think that viewing this material reduces the number of predators. How did you come to that conclusion?
How did they come to that conclusion?
Because anytime I see one of them argue this, they'll show some sort of low-quality data.
A study done by Milton Diamond, Pet Weiss, and Eva Josefkova showed that in the Czech Republic, after decriminalizing all possible explicit sexual content, including child pornography, there was a rapid decline in the number of reported cases of child abuse.
Jeez, it's like nobody on YouTube knows how to read research. So basically what happened here is that in 1989, the Czech Republic underwent a huge regime change, and during that change, they went from no pornography being legal to all types of pornography being legal, including CP. The claim the guy is making in the video is that this change caused the rates of child sex abuse to go down, but if you look at the graph they showed in the study, you can see that this dotted line is already trending downward before the changes were made during the regime change, and it goes down only to go right back up like 3 years later. Not to mention that before 1989...
Yeah, the fact that was one of the things they had to... the fact that was the first thing that's like, hey, but at least, you know, this thing with children is down, right? The fact that was the first thing they mentioned is like, bro, that's disgusting. Your country is... Anyway, it's like, bro, that's disgusting. In my opinion, I'm disgusted by that. That's all.
All forms of erotic content were illegal, and I mean all forms, including erotic literature, all of which was made legal during the regime change. So assuming that the legalization of adult content caused this drop in child sex crime, how do you know that specifically legalizing CP would result in a drop in child abuse? Well, you don't, because the study didn't separate them out, so the point the creator of this video made about Lolicon possibly reducing crime, because it's an outlet for people, cannot be made here. There are also so many things that affect crime rates that it's very easy to say correlation does not equal causation.
The fact that the defenders are running to that as a defense in the first place is crazy, bro.
It could have gone down because the economy is doing better or something. And a lot of the Lolicon defenders like to point out that Japan has low rates of sex crime against children. However, Japan also seems to have very lax legislation in terms of what's considered a child predator, and only recently did things like increase the age of consent from 13 to 16. I'm not a lawyer, but it is very possible that the crime rates are low in this area because it's not considered a crime in Japan, whereas it is considered a crime in places like America or the UK. So you can't really compare the crime rates of these countries unless they have very similar laws. Last but not least, the guy who brought up that study from the previous clip was an actual child predator, and he was just coping. Just thought I would mention that because a very common argument from the pro-Lolicon crowd is that the people who are antis or are against it are all secretly the real predators.
Well, we have this individual in the replies going on a long tangent about how the characters, the female characters in Xenoblade are sexualized, and this fan
By the way, this is Rev Says Desu, the guy who mentioned earlier.
Service is the only reason why this franchise is relevant. Now, you look right here, you see this reply. This user says simply, "This you." And the image that they're attaching here is a rap sheet containing the criminal convictions of this user up above. And within those convictions include convictions for sex crimes against minors. And you know what? If you're a longtime viewer of this channel, I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, every single time. This happens so often, it's just disturbing. We have antis and people who complain about fictional content being outed as actual predators themselves.
Everyone against Lolicon must be secretly predators who are projecting, right? Just because you found a few anecdotal examples of that being the case doesn't mean it's always the case. But I mean, if you're going to have a pissing contest about that, then I must say that for every unintentional hard drive leak from Vosh, there's also a Rev Says Des openly promoting the material. For every Neuralities who criticizes Lolicon and gets caught drawing lewd images of the male characters in My Hero Academia, there's also a Chibi Reviews who openly talks about how he can't wait to see his favorite Moe child character in Dragon Maid. More importantly, do any of you remember when I covered Colleen Christensen and she said this?
These are so unhealthy, I can't believe you're eating them. No, they aren't. Me eating one right now is health promoting. How? I wanted one, so I ate one without guilt or shame present. By doing that, I actually...
How is eating sweets promoting health?
crave these less and can eat them in more
Pressing exit out that you crave them less.
moderation. I think that's pretty health promoting.
No. Eating
No.
a bunch of sugar is just going to make you crave more sugar.
Exactly.
If eating sugar stopped your cravings, then fat people wouldn't exist. As
My nigga. Hey, he right though.
I said in the video that I did on her, this is like trying to stop an alcoholic from craving alcohol by giving him a beer. Addiction is a progressive disease, and the more you engage with it, the worse it will get. Now, that's not to say that watching isekai anime for a few years will progressively turn everybody into predators.
Emilia sucks.
But I do think that these people are huffing excessive amounts of copium when they say that looking at anime children prevents abuse from actual offenders. I have yet to see the pro-lolicon crowd provide any actual evidence of it directly doing that, probably because it has to be damn near impossible to create a study that can investigate it morally. So what we have to do instead is investigate similar mechanisms, and common knowledge in those areas says that you don't fix an alcoholic by giving him a beer. So in conclusion, for the third or fourth time, what Visa and MasterCard are doing is evil. Their actions are why we have antitrust laws in America, and if they are violating those domestically, I think they should be prosecuted by the US government, especially because they weren't just going after Lolicon. However, because of the Lolicon stuff, I do think that Visa has a decent reason for wanting to distance themselves from anime. Though what makes me the most mad about the Lolicon situation is that it steps on the unique storytelling that initially caused me to gravitate towards anime, and it makes me not want to watch it anymore. Back in the day, shows like Mushoku Tensei would have never been released in America, not because stuff like that didn't exist, but because American television didn't want to associate their brand with creeper content. So they would only localize shows that didn't do that stuff, or they would censor them, like they did with Dragon Ball. They didn't even release the original Dragon Ball in America until years after Dragon Ball Z, and they cut that shit like crazy. Rightfully so. The stuff they cut was highly inappropriate for a kid's show, it wasn't funny, and it didn't enhance the story. It was just weird. Or another example of a popular show is Cardcaptor Sakura, which is also a story for kids.
I haven't seen it,
and
don't really want to
originally,
see
it
it.
had a little girl in a relationship with her much older teacher.
What?
Didn't know about that? I didn't know
No.
about that either until I did research for this video.
Oh
because
my
they
God.
removed it when they made the anime, and when the English version was released in America, they further censored those characters. And I'm sure
That's
some
surprising.
weirdo will say, how dare you promote censorship? It's not real. It's just a drawing.
Nah, I don't give a fuck if it's just a drawing. That deserved to be censored. Like, are you serious? Like, what? A little. She looked like she was in middle school. A little girl having a relationship with her teacher. Bro, what?
You don't think it's like grooming behavior to romanticize a 10 to 14-year-old being engaged to her teacher in a show for kids?
Bruh.
You don't think that if an 8-year-old saw that, it would disrupt their concept of a healthy relationship? We used to say that anime doing this shit was inappropriate. So when I say that this kind of stuff ruins the unique storytelling that initially caused me to gravitate towards anime, I mean shows like Cowboy Bebop, Princess Mononoke, Ghost in the Shell, Parasite the Maxim, and the new Trigun series. There are so many wonderful stories that have been told by anime.
Bro, I agree with everything except the new Trigun series because I haven't seen the new Trigun series. But all those all those other anime that he just mentioned, those are some good ass anime, and I recommend them too. Especially Cowboy Bebop, the actual anime, not the fucking Netflix adaptation that's trying to ruin the anime.
Yet the reputation of anime gets ruined by this creepy ass shit that is made purely for people who can't stop watching hentai all day.
Reputation of anime is also ruined by Netflix's creepy ass addiction to trying to turn all anime into live action. Assholes.
But I guess there is a light at the end of the tunnel because Japan recently has been changing their laws to foster more appropriate boundaries around children. I think that maybe a lot of the stuff that happens in anime happens because those kinds of relationships were legal until like 2 years ago. So one would hope that this stuff will start to fade in the upcoming years because of those law changes. I mean, Japan's dying right now, so they're probably scrambling to do whatever they can to get people into relationships. Maybe cutting all the constant porn baiting that's in your shows will help.
It is so hard to not be a gooner while watching anime. It's so hard. That's why, like,
It is not that difficult.
Saga, because there's no fan service. So I actually have control of my life. Dude, imagine playing gacha games. Playing gacha games and not gooning.
Anyway, that's all I have to say on this. Thanks for
Oh my
watching.
God.
Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right, that was a good video. Shout out to Think Before You Sleep. Once again, the link to his channel, link to the video that we just watched will both be in the description below. Hope you like this new style. I know I used to get a lot of complaints about people who were like, why are you upside down? It's distracting. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh, ooh, shut the fuck up. Are you happy now, bitch? Right side up. Chilling. All right, anyway, as always, you know what to do. Thank you for, as always, you know what to do. Don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do. And like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that. In case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace. Much love to you.